The sign is iconic. You see the sign all the time, you know the building. This is not going to be vacant forever. There will be life here. I want this to be like the creative center in downtown Seattle. I want it to be buzzing with life. I want your favorite artist to be here. I want your next favorite artist to be here. I want the artist who's doing the coolest pieces, pushing the conversation forward. I want them to be showing here. Basecamp 2 is going to be a home to hopefully 30 artists upstairs in studio spaces, and then a large-scale installation space downstairs, and they work very harmoniously together. So the artists creating upstairs, people coming to see the installations downstairs, interacting with both spaces to hopefully just have one home for creativity right in the heart of downtown Seattle.
How would you characterize the building before you even took over at all?
Oh, it was rough. It was rough. I'm being generous. It was rough. It was about 6 weeks of just up and down, up and down, up and down, bringing rubbish from upstairs, downstairs to make that space cleaner. Every window was busted out and most of them were covered in graffiti. I had a lot of hope from people in the community who just wanted to come, pitch in some hands and move some stuff. The rubbish that you kind of see up front is the story of what happens in a space over years of it being vacant. But also there's a potential for life. Like there's a step after this. The opening exhibition at Basecamp 2 is called Ghosts of Belltown. It's a bit of a play on kind of the process to get here. All of the objects that you see in this exhibit were in this space before the exhibit. They've been moved and arranged in a certain way. This is a large-scale, immersive installation. This is not a stare at a piece on the wall, contemplate the piece, move on to a second piece, repeat that process. You're going to have to look all around to see what this exhibit is all about.
I love derelict spaces, abandoned spaces. In Seattle, there is no shortage of these kind of spaces, especially right now. For this installation, I am focused on bringing words into the rubble and into the garbage around here. I'm trying to make a trash pile into a poem. I really want people to be able to come in and explore, poke around, and I want them to find all these little Easter eggs, these moments, these little pieces of poetry that conjure things and evoke feelings and thoughts and maybe some of the energy that is in this space. This project is so inspiring to me because it showcases what can happen when an individual or a community wakes up a space that has been sleeping for a long time.
It's easy to look up and around at all the tall buildings that are here and just think that this is our city, but on the ground floor there's places like this that could be used and utilized, and leave it up to creative people to try to help. My name's Yale Wolf. I'm an industrial designer with a focus in neon fabrication. I like to think about ghosts as like, what state of matter do they exist in? Like if you were to guess, like, might they be a gas? Part of the neon process, we are creating a vacuum in a tube and putting gas in there. So it's fun to think about if that were to exist and now we're giving it light through a tube. Neon is something that can be very playful, and that is what attracts me to it. It's a good opportunity to make something that a kid would like, making a reason to play with it and make people smile.
I love the idea of life amidst chaos, especially in abandoned places or places that are forgotten, that there's still all this stuff was put here by people, for people. My stuff is anamorphic, kind of forced perspective portraits. The idea of painting people on the stuff, all right? But you also, as the viewer, have to work for it, and your position, your view of it will be necessarily different than mine. But whenever it lines up for you, it won't line up for the person standing next to you. One of the portraits here is of a picture that I found here. So like this picture we found in the rubble. There's life that is hidden in the cracks of society, in the cracks of the sidewalk, and a lot of stuff that we would pass by. And so in challenging the idea of vacant spaces.
Finding life in the rubble, I think, is going to be a fun little experience for folks. I want them to think, why are we letting spaces turn into this? How have we let spaces like this become what it is? But then by the end, I want them to walk away feeling optimistic. They will, I hope, have seen some life in the rubble, if you will. They will have trained their eye to look deeper at what's happening. And then hopefully, like us, they'll see the potential in a space like this to bring people in the community together, to bring a center for artists to practice their work, to really go to that next level. I'm hoping that they see this space for what it is.